All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to unpack the incredible story of Kenya's energy evolution. It's a fascinating journey, really, from a system that was super fragile and vulnerable to the climate to becoming a global leader in green power. It's a transformation that's packed with amazing innovation, but also some really, really tough choices. And that brings us to the big question, right? How does a country like Kenya actually pull this off? How do you build this incredible green future while you're still grappling with all the realities of development, the environmental costs, and, surprisingly, even a continuing dance with fossil fuels? So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll look at the rain-dependent past, then the geothermal revolution that really changed the game. After that, we'll explore the super ambitious green future Kenya is trying to build. And finally, we'll get real and weigh all that ambition against the cold, hard reality. Okay, so to really understand where Kenya's going, you first have to get a picture of where it came from. Its early energy system, for a long, long time, was pretty much all about two things: wood and water. This quote right here just says it all. Thinking of the entire grid as a rain-dependent farm, that's the perfect way to put it. It perfectly captures just how vulnerable the whole thing was. If the rains came, great, the lights stayed on. But if they didn't, the entire economic harvest was just gone, totally at the mercy of the weather. And when you dig into the details, you see just how shaky that foundation was. I mean, look at this. Almost 70% of people were using wood and charcoal just to cook. That has massive health and environmental problems. Then you have the grid itself, which was basically all in on hydropower. So when a drought hit, which it did a lot, power output would just tank. That forced the country to fire up these super expensive, super dirty diesel generators just to keep the lights on. It was just not a sustainable way to run a country. But then, Kenya made a radical pivot, a huge shift. Instead of looking up to the skies, hoping for rain, it started looking down, deep, deep down into the Earth's core. And that was the start of its geothermal revolution. Now, fast forward to today, and just look at this mix. The change is absolutely stunning. Geothermal is now the single biggest piece of the pie. It provides a stable, 24/7 power source that doesn't care if it rains or not. Hydropower is still a big player, sure, but it's not the only game in town anymore. And you can see wind and solar making a real dent. This is what a diversified, resilient system looks like. And make no mistake, this isn't just a feel-good local story. By tapping into the insane power of the Great Rift Valley, Kenya has launched itself onto the world stage. The geology there is just perfect for it, providing this constant, reliable heat from the earth. It's the perfect antidote to those unpredictable rains. This one strategic move made it the sixth largest geothermal producer on the entire planet and the undisputed leader in Africa. But, and this is a big but, here's where the story gets really complicated. At the exact same time, Kenya is building Africa's largest wind farm and rolling out thousands of electric vehicle charging stations, it's also firing up a major oil project. This creates this fascinating and kind of tricky paradox. Can you really be a green energy champion while also chasing fossil fuel exports? So let's look at where this is all headed. Kenya isn't stopping with what it has now. Oh no. Its vision for the future is even bigger, even more ambitious. We're talking about aiming for a completely self-sustaining green economy. And they've got a clear roadmap to get there. The first major goal, a 100% renewable electricity grid by 2030. I mean, that's just a few years away. To get there and push even further, they're planning to break ground on a massive nuclear power plant in 2027. And the ultimate goal, the big one, is to hit net zero emissions for the entire economy by 2050. So what does this level of ambition cost? Well, get ready for this. The estimated price tag to make that whole net zero vision a reality is a jaw-dropping $600 billion. To give you some perspective, that's more than 5 times Kenya's entire GDP right now. It's a staggering investment that's going to need some serious global partnership. The strategy to pull this off is pretty sophisticated. It's got multiple layers. First, they plan to use liquefied natural gas, or LNG, as a kind of cleaner bridge fuel to get off the really old, dirty oils. Step 2 is bringing nuclear power online to provide that steady, unwavering baseload power you always need. And finally, the really futuristic part, developing a green hydrogen industry to clean up the toughest sectors, like long-haul trucking and heavy manufacturing. And that brings us to our final act, weighing this incredible, sky-high ambition against the complex, messy reality on the ground. What is the true cost of going green? Let's start with a number, 26,000. That's how many people, mostly women and children, die every single year in Kenya from breathing in polluted air inside their own homes, all from burning wood and charcoal to cook. So, you see, when we talk about moving to cleaner energy, this isn't some abstract thing about the climate. For millions of people, switching to cleaner cooking with gas or electricity is literally a life-saving event. This might be the single biggest win for human health in this entire story. But every solution seems to have a trade-off. While geothermal power is great for global carbon levels, it comes with very real, very local costs. We're talking about things like contaminated water, acid rain, even small earth tremors. And maybe most critically, its expansion has led to the forced resettlement of indigenous communities like the Maasai, completely upending their way of life and destroying cultural heritage. This is that painful paradox. What looks like progress for the nation can be devastating for a local community. On the other hand, the economic upside is enormous. Kenya is turning itself into a regional energy powerhouse, exporting its extra power to its neighbors. The promise of cheap, reliable green energy is like a magnet for new industries that use a ton of power. And maybe most important of all, this whole transition could create a massive number of jobs, potentially 500,000 new jobs by 2050. The vision isn't just to power Kenya, it's to become the green industrial engine for the whole region. Which leaves us with this one last crucial question. Is Kenya's story a perfect blueprint that other developing nations should copy? A shining example of how to leapfrog into a green future? Or is it more of a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the difficult and often painful trade-offs that come with this kind of growth? You know, the truth is, it's probably a bit of both. And that's what makes this whole transformation so important for all of us to watch.